Here in this tank, I've been trying to raise an army of shrimp. However, I've noticed that some of my shrimp have been disappearing, and I wasn't sure why until now. What are these, and how do I get rid of them? If you saw my first video, you would have seen me building this tank. This tank was set up with the sole intention of growing as many cherry shrimp as possible. Everything seemed to be going well, and the number of shrimp was steadily increasing. Until one day, I noticed a new creature making its way through the tank. At first, I wasn't sure if I should be alarmed or not, because there are some species of worm that are harmless to shrimp, like this garden worm. However, the number of adult shrimp wasn't rising, and there wasn't really any babies present in the tank, and I couldn't figure out why until I saw this. These worms literally sucked the life out of my shrimp, and they took on the color of their victim. And to make matters worse, the mothers were the ones being targeted, which is why there was no baby shrimp in the tank. After seeing this, I knew my shrimp's time was short, so I began the quest of figuring out what they were, and as it turns out, this little alien is none other than the infamous Planaria, aka the shrimp eater, and I had hundreds of them. They're most easily identified by the arrow shape of their head, the two little eyes, and the oval found in the center of their body. The crazy thing about Planaria is that they can reproduce the way many other creatures do, or they can use their superpower, Planaria fission, basically meaning that if one of the worms is cut in half, the tail portion grows a new head, and the head portion grows a new tail. And it's this ability that makes them so successful at what they do. I knew I needed to get rid of the whole worm in one go, and so I had two choices. I could either use medication, or I could introduce an apex predator. This here is none other than the Siamese fighting fish, aka Beta splendens. This here is just a juvenile-sized individual, and so the hope is that it hunts just the worms and leaves the shrimp alone. And as expected, it started hunting immediately. And after watching for a little bit, I saw all that I needed to see and just decided to take the beta out of the tank as it just began hunting the shrimp. After doing a bit of research, I decided that No Planaria was the safest option for my tank. So I ordered myself some and waited, very impatiently. And at last, the day came. And here we are. And this is what I've been waiting for. No Planaria. And so I made my way upstairs and decided to start the first treatment. And then I'm just gonna mix that around with my tweezers. At first, not a lot seemed to change, but then I noticed many of the Planaria had split, which was probably a defensive strategy, which got me thinking that the medication was actually doing something. However, after a couple days of dosing the tank, I noticed the Planaria weren't really moving, but were just sitting in one place, and so I decided to continue with the treatment. On the third day, I noticed something new. The planaria began writhing and falling off the glass. However, I was just about to leave on a trip, and so I decided to add just a little bit more medication to make sure that the job was finished. Upon returning from the trip, I inspected the tank, and to my pleasant surprise, the planaria had completely disappeared. This was a victory, and I have to say that victory was sweet. As time progressed, I saw new generations of baby shrimp, healthy mother shrimp, and new snails all being created in the tank, and so I would say that it's a success because these are all things that the planaria would have eaten. If you enjoyed this video, please check out my other ones, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.